My husband's name is Alan, and we have a almost 9-year-old little boy named Conor. We found out that he was diagnosed with sensory processing disorder and slight ADHD. We didn't know until he started kindergarten, but he just had a terrible reaction to it. He would have multiple breakdowns. He would run to the back of the room and hide his head. He was scared of just the most unusual things to be scared of. So finally, I was really lucky that his kindergarten teacher happened to have a student a year or two prior that had sensory issues. She called it sensory integration. From then on, once he was diagnosed, really we just were like, okay, what do we do now? His behavioral specialist, to be honest with you, it was kind of disheartening because they said some of it he'll grow out of. Mm-hmm. We can give you tools, but basically this is something he's going to have for the rest of his life, and good luck.
So yeah. They get brain harmony.
Yes. We started with the first step of the program that Brain Harmony offers, and which is the 5-day protocol. And I didn't really notice anything until about 2 days after he had finished that 5-day protocol. In the past, Conor really never made eye contact. He wasn't really outgoing. My friend Abby came over, who he's known all of his life, but the only people that he really ever was comfortable around was me and my mother and my husband. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, Conor walks out of his bedroom, walks up to Abby, looks her right in the face and goes, "Hi, Abby." And literally all three of us were like, who is this kid? And then he invites her into his room to show her something. And I'll never forget it. My husband was sitting on the couch and I'm looking at him like, can you believe he just did that? Uh-huh. So, that was kind of the first sign that I'm like, oh, something's happening here. But I tell you the turning point, and it's hard for me to talk about it because I almost break down in tears every single time. But the turning point for me was he'd started the second stage of the protocol, the long-term listening. And we went to the mall. The mall was not a pleasant place for us because he was terrified of the mechanical toys in the middle of the mall. He was terrified of the train in the mall. He was terrified of public restrooms. And so we got there and I noticed immediately this wasn't the same. He wasn't scared. He wasn't like terrified of everything. And I'm watching him. I'm like, okay, what's going on with this kid? And then he had to go to the bathroom. There was no, oh my God, mommy, the toilets. Oh my God, mommy, there was none of this. He walked in, he went to the restroom, he flushed the toilet, he was washing his hands, and he kept looking over at the hand dryer. The hand dryer was right there. Now, this is a child that was terrified of hand dryers. This is a child who, if they went off, he would freak out. And he's looking at the hand dryer, and he said, "Mommy, can I try the hand dryer?" And I was like, "Of course, buddy. Of course you can try the hand dryer." He goes, "Well, hold my ears, though, okay?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And I held his ears, and he put his hands under it. And the pride on his face, Laura, you could just tell that he was so proud of himself. I walked out of the restroom and called you and said, okay, I'm sold. You changed my kid. But that was all summer that he did the therapy. And so by the time he started second grade, he was a different kid. I mean, I had teachers and his guidance counselor coming up to me going, "What have you done? What are you doing? What's happening?" I mean, he walks through the halls differently. He holds his head differently. He was comfortable in his skin. He was a happier child. And, I realized, after being on this, using this therapy as long as I have, and now, of course, being associated with Brain Harmony, I've learned that just that organizing the brain, it's not only just the behavioral stuff and all that stuff, it's just that confidence that reorganizing the brain gives your child. It's everything. It's just everything. I say this all the time to not only moms that I'm so lucky enough to talk to on the phone, but moms that I meet out and about that just through conversation, we find out that maybe their child might have SPD or something going on. Listen to your inner voice. Trust that voice, and okay, there's something going on and I need to do something. Brain harmony, I know it is, even after reading everything and it all makes sense and everything, it's still kind of hard to digest, but it works.
Yeah.
And I have been lucky enough to not only see it in my child, but to see it in so many other children. And when you have this therapy in your home and you're using it and encouraging your child to use it and encouraging them to see, look at what you're doing and look what you're able to do, it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
And I know that is a bold statement. It is a really bold statement, but it's going to change your life. It really is.